bunch of questions. I guess like just to start off, name, position, and kind of just take me through your journey from graduating college to now.
Yeah, no, first, just want to thank you, Bryce, for having me. I know we go back a year and a half, 2 years or so back through the old interview process, but been great to stay in touch and to see you kind of come up in athletics as well is special. And as far as me, Cody Hendrickson, Assistant AD for Strategy and Innovation here at the University of Arizona. Just got here about a year and 2 months ago, actually. So really enjoying it down in Tucson, having a great time. Um, as far as my journey, I went to a Division II school in northern Minnesota, Bemidji State University, small Division II. Um, really wasn't sure what I wanted to do. Originally wanted to work in Major League Baseball. Started working in the athletic department, was able to have some great mentors and Tim Ballou and Tracy Dill that kind of let me get involved and let me see the landscape of college athletics. Worked in every aspect of our athletic department from events to marketing to I was on some of the comms stuff. So really got to see that full circle. And then I graduated and I didn't know what I wanted to do. Got down to that last month before I was about to graduate in December of 2016 and got the opportunity to join the University of Missouri as a graduate assistant in the student services side academics. So working with student athlete tutoring, mentoring, academic schedules, all of that, and really enjoyed it, man. I mean, coming from a Division II school to the SEC was a big jump, and you start to learn a little bit more every single day you're in it. But really enjoyed my experience as a GA. That turned into getting my master's, and I started a PhD as well. So really appreciate and show gratitude for that. And then I would have had the opportunity to hop into a full-time role. So I went to a academic coordinator, which is where Bryce and I first met. I was academic coordinator for women's soccer, softball, and football at the University of Missouri, and really love that experience. Fast forward a year, opportunity comes up to be assistant AD for our student athlete leadership program. So really working with our SAC, our community service, a lot of those things on the student professional development front. Really enjoyed that, and then a year later, opportunity comes here at the University of Arizona with transition and said yes right away. And now I'm working more on the admin side, working on staff professional development, a lot of new initiatives on our HR operations unit, all of our employee onboarding, some contracts, so just a little bit of everything. And that's how I categorize this role. It's really like a Swiss Army knife. I get to do a little bit of everything across all of our units, which is really great. Like I get to see everything from a different perspective than the student services side, and getting to learn more about the landscape of college athletics every single day. So also serve as our sport administrator for triathlon here, which is great. So I get to firsthand look at that program and working with Coach Johnson and Coach Bonnie. And obviously, we won a national championship last year in triathlon and are getting ready to do our best with regionals and nationals coming up here within the next month. So just a great experience so far. And that's a little bit about my journey.
Yeah, no doubt. I think like you said, whenever we first met, we talked a lot. Kind of just dive in to. I was talking to my roommates about this all the time. Is starting starting small is always has its pros and cons, but like really, as I'm seeing it as well here at McNeese, at a smaller school, is like you see so much and you're able to touch so much more as opposed to starting at a big Power 5 or Power 4, starting there and only being able to see, your niche avenue. Can you kind of dive into that and how that's helped you, climb the ladder?
Absolutely. I mean, I think at the end of the day, the experience is what you make it, whether that is a mid major, a small Division II, or a P4 school. Like the experience is what you make of it, and you have to find those opportunities to just get involved. And I think that's what my opportunity at the D2 level started was, hey, I reached out to the baseball coach, like, hey, looking to be like a manager, like I need to be involved in something. And it turned into a yes. And then before I knew it, he was running all of our event management, all of these things. And I was piggybacking off of that and really built a foundation on never saying no. Like if I was available, like I was doing it because I wanted to get involved. And that kind of never say no mentality got me to the SEC. I had not had any experience on like the student services side, but wanted to hopped in, led to some other great opportunities of helping with some random things here and there. Here's a project, work on this, and just really being able to see more of it. But it was really that start at the D2 level where you could see all of the aspects are they as grandiose as like the SEC? No, but like you can see all of the aspects and start to put a picture together of what is college athletics and what is athletics administration as a whole. To where when I got to the SEC, I knew about some of these things, but I wasn't touching them on a daily basis. And now I could learn even more about, okay, what is this area doing? What is this area doing? How can I help? Or how can I assist in what we're trying to do in the greater good and just the overall alignment? So, um, and honestly, that kind of tailored into this role here, like stepping into it, had an idea of what it would look like, but it has also shifted drastically since I've been here in a good way because I get to dabble in a little bit of everything from our HR ops side to more sport administration to some budgeting aspects. Like there's a lot of different things that you just kind of get awareness of and you get a seat at the table and you really just sit and you listen and you learn and then you get to a point where you feel like you know what's going on and you provide feedback and you can kind of provide perspective and I think that's helped me along the way for sure.
Yeah. No, I mean, I agree. I think you hit it on the head. Is a couple of things is like the never say no mentality, and then also to kind of what you just touched on is I think it's always evolving. Obviously, as college athletics evolves as a whole, like your title evolves, even though it might not be in your title, like your role and what you do on a day to day basis. Um, can you kind of just go into what you're currently, like you said, from day one at Arizona, you're obviously getting your feet wet into a whole new university, but can you dive in on what you started on the first couple of months and kind of what you're, doing now?
Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, when I first got here, our marketing department was working on rebuilding. So literally, I showed up in the first week. I was on the field doing football marketing the first week because we needed assistance. I had some experience in that, so like had nothing to do with what I'm doing now, but like just stepping in and being able to help the greater good, help the team, help the mission of what we're trying to do. So first month or so was really just filling gaps, stepping in, hit the ground running, getting the hands dirty, and helping wherever I could. And then it kind of has grown into a few different things with, like I said, the sport administration piece, working on the HR side. So really working on improving and elevating our professional development series for our staff, getting them involved, getting them connected, and then also just helping with all of our HR ops and the employee onboarding and just working on recruiting new employees for positions we have open and a lot of different things. So, as far as my job today, like no 2 days are ever the same in general, but for me, I feel that as well. It could be a project working with campus on this day. It could be more on the HR side the next day. It could be more on some strategy and analytics the following day, but just a little bit of everything that really gets me involved and integrated into the department and really working to bring that department together so we're fully aligned with the university, our mission, our vision, our goals, our values, and what we're trying to do. So uh, the first 8 months also were real wild. We released our Bear Down Blueprint strategic plan that really worked with campus on that and we're able to launch that to where it is today and that's our roadmap for the future. That's our 5-year plan of what we want to do to make Arizona athletics the best that it can be for our student athletes, fans, coaches, staffs, everybody who really buys in and is a constituent of Arizona athletics. So it's been a wild 14 months, but excited for what's to come and obviously getting into crossover season here. So we're football game Saturday, basketball game exhibition starts next Saturday and we hit the ground running and
No
keep
doubt.
going.
Yeah, let me, if you don't mind touching on that blueprint, because I think where it's very similar over here is we've had a lot of recent, just growth, and it's like a new, like you said, it's a new era. And for on our end, we have a new coaching staff coming in for football, both basketballs, and we have a real mark of like, hey, this is the new McNeese, and for y'all, you're coming in, new staff, new administration. Hey, like this is the new Arizona. Can you just go into detail on like what all goes behind those meetings? Like you said, sitting down, all the ideas, all the different people, in each department saying like, "Hey, this is important. We need to kind of hit this in the blueprint."
Yeah, no, I would first of all, I would say that like, it's not a new Arizona. Like Arizona's legacy has carried us long before we got here and will carry us long after we're gone. It's about the greater good. It's about the university. And it's about doing what we can to support our student athletes, our coaches, our fans, staff on a daily basis. So I think if anything, it's more about how do we elevate us to the next level. Like we always want to provide the best game day experience for our fans. We want to provide an elite student athlete experience. We want to be well rounded, right? Like looking back in the days of the early to mid 90s where Arizona's in the top 10, top 15 of the Learfield Cup, like that's where we want to be. Like we want to be competitively excellent. We want to have that great student athlete experience where we're graduating student athletes, and we want to be a strong organization while we do it. So just kind of have a full 360 perspective of who we are, how we operate, and how we want to get better. It's really where it boils down to, and it's that culture of excellence, right? It's a culture of excellence and a culture of accountability where we're gonna believe in what we can do collectively as a unit, and we're gonna hold each other accountable. We want to do things the right way, and we want to make sure that we're putting our best foot forward every single day.
Yeah, I agree, and, I think, obviously, with anything that, is successful, it always starts at the top, so, can you just dive in, like, on, the leadership that y'all have and how it kinda trickles down, and like you said, to your point of, your job is making sure you're gathering the staff and making sure you're all on the same page, and just kinda dive in to the all those and, like, important all those important things.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think it really comes down to like the most successful teams are the ones who are connected, like the ones who truly feel that connection and that they're going to help you do anything, anytime, anywhere. And that's what we're trying to do with our team, right? Like we want to have the most connected teams because the best connected teams win. And that's what we want to do at the end of the day. We want to be excellent. We want to be holistically excellent to where we don't want to just win championships. We want to do that. We want to make sure our student athletes are doing it at a super high level. We want to make sure our fans are engaged, our community's engaged. Like Tucson's a ginormous city or a city of a million people, but like it is truly a college town and how they rally around the U of A. So it's it's something bigger than it's being a part of something bigger than ourselves and contributing to that. Um, and just knowing that every day we show up, like we're doing it for them. We're not just doing it for a job. Like this is a lifestyle. We love this lifestyle, and we're doing it for something bigger than ourselves because of what we represent and what the Block A and the University of Arizona represents.
Whenever people hear innovation and strategy, obviously that can be broad, which is good, and, but some people kinda get confused on what exactly is that, especially with things like I just said, how things are so changing, you don't know if it is a part of it, if it isn't a part of it. Specifically for you, what are some innovating things that you are looking forward to? I know maybe some projects are secret that you can't really speak on, but there's a couple of open ones that are nearing its thing for y'all.
Yeah, no, I mean, a lot of it is looking around the corner of what's coming next. So how do we a lot of it is benchmarking, like where are we stacking up against our conference peers, our national peers, and how we either operate on a let's say fans in the seats level or a revenue level or media. Obviously, we're tracking media and seeing where we stand now, but it's a lot of benchmarking just across not just the Big 12, but nationally and how we can continue to elevate the brand. So that's some of it right there. Otherwise, big projects, like I said, the Bear Down Blueprint took up a lot of time this spring and it was a special project that I'll carry with me forever because it was just a great project to collaborate with campus and our literally our entire leadership team and senior team to put that together and launch that to really put our roadmap for the future out there. But otherwise, a lot of it is the blocking and tackling day to day. Like I can come in and have 10 things on my to do list today. I'm looking at my whiteboard right now, and it's like I have 10 things on my list I need to get done today, and 3 or 4 fires will pop up, and I got to take care of those first. So it's just really tackling the day, tackling the priorities day to day, and trying to plan for the future and seeing what's coming around the corner because we know that at the end of the day, things are going to continuously change. They've all I've known is change in my time in college athletics. As when I first started, NIL wasn't a thing, and then it was a thing, and then conference realignment, and then rev share. Like we're gonna continuously know change. So just being able to be adaptable and go learn on the fly, go on the fly, and figure things out along the way. Because I'm not gonna pretend I have all the answers. But when you have a strong team, like we can collectively come together and come up with some pretty good ideas and pretty good ways to keep tackling it as we move forward.
No doubt. And you have a background, right, in like, psychology and counseling?
My
Is it
master's was in school and counseling psych from the University of Missouri, and then still working on my doctorate from educational leadership and policy analysis at the University of Missouri as well.
Gotcha, yeah, if you can, how are you mental health, obviously, and especially with student athletes, that's a very big thing, and I think that's another thing to give you credit on is that's another aspect where you can relate to these student athletes and your administration as well. So can you just kind of dive in on how important that is and what y'all are doing at Arizona to continue the new movement of mental health?
Yeah, I mean, I think at the end of the day, it's really just making our student athletes feel at home, feel like they're heard, feel like they're valued, and that a lot of times when people see them on the screen, they see them as athletes, but they don't see them as people or the human aspect of it all the time. And they are like they're 18 to 22, 23-year olds that are going through college. They have higher pressures on them than they've ever had before, and we need to make sure that we're there for them. And that's what we continue to do. And athletic departments across the country continue to do is provide mental health staffs and psychologists and sports psychologists so that we're here for them. We hear you, we value you, and if you're going through a hard time, like we're going to support you the best of our ability to make sure that we have the resources here to support you. So mental health is, I mean, something that we address every single day with our student athletes because like I said, we want them to be heard, be seen, feel valued, and really feel at home here at the U of A. And really, I think college athletics in general has done a great job of addressing the mental health awareness. Like today's National Mental Health Awareness Day. All of our staffs have T-shirts with the green ribbon on them to represent that, and just continually showing up for them every single day in that space, for our staff in that space, but all of us here as well that can kind of be aware of anything that may be going on and let them know that we have options for them if they are going through a hard time.
Yeah, no doubt. Um, Obviously, this is a I don't want it to seem like an interview, I just want it to seem like a discussion, but a good question is, what are some things that, uh, are challenges to you at the University of Arizona, as opposed, to your previous jobs? And but, also to flip it around, and what are some things that you think you in Arizona excel at really well as opposed to other schools?
I mean, for me, it's learning the institutional knowledge, right? I mean, previous institution I worked at I was there for almost 8 years, so I built up a lot of institutional knowledge and relationships on campus. And for me, it's just diving in. It's getting to know our campus partners. It's getting to know those in the community here in Tucson, and really building that institutional knowledge of the U of A. It's taken time, and it'll continue to grow as I obviously stay here longer. But I think that's been my challenge is just diving into that institutional knowledge and like the legacy of the Block A and what Tucson and what the University of Arizona means to this community, is a big part of it. So not really a challenge, but something that obviously I'm trying to be intentional about in what we do here at the U of A. And as far as what we do well, I think we do a lot of things well. Are we perfect? No, and we have a lot of room to grow, but who doesn't, as a college student, who doesn't want to come to Tucson, Arizona, right? Like we have 300 plus days of sunshine. We got palm trees. We got mountains. Like we got everything here. And I think that's a huge selling point for us, obviously. And we can continue to lean into that. But how do we elevate the Arizona brand? I think that's a challenge that we all talk about of like, a lot of people recognize the Block A and see the Block A, but we're in the new conference. We're in the Big 12. How can we expand that not just to the East Coast of West Virginia and Central Florida and the teams we play out east, but how can we expand that nationally and really make people know like when they see that Block A, that's the University of Arizona. I want to learn more. I want to do more. So I think there's a lot of things that we already do really well, but I think that's an area we can continue to grow in as well. And then obviously we want to emphasize the student athlete experience. We want them to have a world class experience in the classroom, on the court, or on the field, and life after sports. So preparing them with career fairs, other things like that, so that when they graduate, they feel like they've been prepared to succeed, whether that's in professional sport or if that's in the work environment that they choose to go into. So I think those are a few things that we do really well and that we want to continuously improve. But those are a few things that we do really well here.
Yeah, no doubt. And like, again, it's new for you, but in 5 to 10 years from now, what would you want somebody, like a booster or a fan or a student, what would you want them to say that your impact, was like, what was your impact on Arizona?
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, like I want people to know that like we showed up every single day. Like we are always pouring into our student athletes, our coaches, our staffs, this university, this athletic department. And I think that's something that we take a lot of pride in is showing up and giving our all every single day. We want to obviously elevate it to the best of our ability. We want to win championships, but We're a hardworking group. We're a hardworking unit that really doesn't stop until we get where we want to go. So, um, I think as far as what people are going to say, like they're going to say that we left it better than we found it. We've had an impact on it. We were a strong organization and, hopefully win more championships along the way that can leave a legacy that'll last years and years and years.
Yep. I think it's just funny too, like, just a random sidebar is, like, in high school, it's like, "Oh, you can't make you can't make a living off of just knowing people or, being good to people. It's your schoolwork that is important, and obviously schoolwork's important, but, I mean, this is a people and, like, it's a people industry, and it's you can care, like, there's ways to show your genuineness and your hard work, and everything else will follow. I think that's what successful people, especially in this industry, kinda build off of.
Absolutely, and it is. It's about the people. It's about I mean, I'll use our relationship for example. Like we met almost 2 years ago, and we stay in touch from time to time. But like just to be invited, like I said, it's an honor. It's great to reconnect, and it's a connection that should you need anything or should I have questions down the line, like we both know we can rely on each other. And we have how many of those connections across the country in this field, right? So, one of my grad school roommate, one of my best friends, and will be at my wedding next year, is at Georgia Southern. Like we chat every single day about what's going on, and we have friends across the country that we can lean on and that we know. And there's only so many levels of separation in college athletics because of how tight knit it is, and I think a lot of it has to do with understanding the lifestyle we live too. Of like it's 24/7, 365, but we love it and we do it for a reason, and we do it for our student athletes, our coaches, our staffs, everybody that we work to serve on a daily basis.
Yeah, without a doubt. And I think, if you wanna touch on it a little bit or give advice to, the managers of the world or the GAs, like you said, you and your buddy were GAs together. What advice would you give, to the hold on, talk real quick. I just wanna make sure something.
Yeah, you're good.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure the audio was still on.
All
But
good.
I'll redo the question. But yeah, if you wanna touch on real quick, if you have any advice to the managers or somebody trying to get started, the GAs of the world, what would your advice be, how to get started and how to propel their careers in the best way possible?
Yeah, there's really I have a few nuggets that I always carry with me, but first one is really just find joy in the journey. Like I was a GA longer than most. I was a GA almost 4 years, and I look back on that as almost some of the most transformative times for me because I was able to learn so much and dive into so many different things. Even though like I wanted to be a full-time staff member and interviewed it in how many places, like there's a reason and everything happens for a reason. Like just find joy in the journey and where you're at. Grass doesn't always greener on the other side. It's the grass is greener where you water it. And if you kind of stay where your feet are planted and pour into that, like you're gonna get the most out of your experience. So that's like point number one. Point number two is find what you love, do what you love, and never stop learning about the things you love doing. Like for me, I knew it was sports. I didn't know what in sports, but I knew it was in sports. And then I found college athletics. And now like I'm in this path where like I want to learn something new every single day and what I'm doing to help the organization or help us get better. So I think it's just finding those things that you really enjoy, do those things, and then just keep learning about those things. And then really the last thing is I mentioned it earlier, but that never say no mentality. It's not always healthy, and you gotta set boundaries. I'll admit that to say the best, and I'm not the best at that. I'll fully admit that. But as you're coming up, like anytime you get an opportunity to knock on that door and to say yes, like you can do it, say yes. Like, would you rather do other things on a
Mm.
Friday night or a Saturday game day? Sure, you probably do, but the opportunities that that door brings are so much greater than anything that you can imagine. And sometimes that door just creaks open a little bit further and a little bit further, and you're that much closer to your next opportunity. So, just having that never say never and never say no mentality has opened a lot of doors for me and just being willing to assist on anything. Do I know, like for me, for when I got here for marketing, did I know everything that was going on? Nope, but I knew that I could help get to where they wanted to go in that specific situation. So a lot of those things, those are probably the main three things that I would say is, yeah, just those three things.
Yeah, no doubt. And also too, like you said, you've been able to touch so many different things, at the previous schools you've been at. Did you always know climbing the ladder, like you said, you knew it was sports and you didn't know. But once you got into sports, did you know it was, "Okay, I wanna do this," or like you said, was it just a day by day thing, just being so focused on what you had, and then it kinda just played out?
Yeah, it's funny you say that because I try and think back because as long as I can remember, for probably my first 3 years of college was like I wanted to work in Major League Baseball, big baseball guy. Did an internship in the Northwoods League up in Wisconsin and enjoyed it. But I got back after that summer and I was like, I miss college athletics. Like it's that there's something to that that I want to be a part of. And I don't know exactly when it was, but it was probably that senior year of college to where I was like, no, I want to zone in and hone in on the college athletic space. And it's kind of led me to where I am today. I think it's funny to think retroactively and look back of like 5 years ago. Did I think I would be here? Absolutely not. The 5 years before that, did I think I would be where I was at? No, probably not. Like, I'm just a small town kid from Minnesota who grew up on a dairy farm, a town of less than 1,000 people, and now I'm living in Tucson, Arizona, as assistant athletic director in a city that's 1,000,000 people. So, life has a funny way of bringing you back around and grounding you, and I think you just have to be aware of those moments. And like I said, be where your feet are planted. Because 5 years ago, I had no idea that I would be in Tucson, Arizona, but here I am. So here's to where I may be the next 5, and who knows?
Who knows? Yep, absolutely. And then last question before we wrap it up, who are 2 or 3 people, within the space that, you would wanna watch an interview or listen to and or pick their brain?
Oh man, that's such a good question and a hard question. I've listened to Chris Del Conte, the athletic director at Texas, speak a few different times at convention, and I always walk away with a few really good nuggets from him and how he goes about his hiring process and who he looks for when he hires. And that one sticks to me. And anytime he's on something, I try to listen because I always feel like I steal a few good nuggets. And then just people who have been in the field, who have kind of gone through the grind. Like you look across the country at any athletic department, like there are so many good stories. Like we talk about storytelling and student athletes, but like there are so many good stories on administrators across the country that are sitting either in the chair or are in the senior leadership chairs that they have some great stories that any of those tidbits that you can relate to are great. So um, I think there's a lot of people that given the opportunity, I would listen to their interviews because I'm on podcasts and listening to things every single day. And I'm biased, but I would listen to our AD speak on any podcast every single day. Tesser is a great speaker, a great leader in our industry, and somebody who really truly cares about everybody in our department who is helping us get to where we want to go. So those are just a few for you.
Yeah.